remembering the unspeakable, the Nigeria-Biafra War. Even the name evokes a shudder, a dark chapter in history. From 1967 to 1970, a nation fractured. Brother fought against brother, a conflict etched in collective memory. Its echoes resonate even today. The war, rooted in ethnic tensions, political instability, and economic disparities, tore apart the fabric of Nigeria. The Igbo people, predominantly residing in the southeast, declared the independent Republic of Biafra. What followed was a brutal conflict. It left an indelible mark on the nation's psyche. The scars of the Nigeria-Biafra War run deep. They are etched into the landscape. They linger in the memories of survivors. The conflict had a profound impact on Igbo land, the heartland of Biafra. The war decimated infrastructure, crippled the economy, and shattered social structures. Igbo land bore the brunt of the fighting. Cities and towns lay in ruins. The once vibrant economy was reduced to rubble. The war's end in 1970 did not bring an end to the suffering. The wounds of conflict continued to fester. The Igbo people faced discrimination, marginalization, and economic hardship. The promise of reconciliation remained elusive. Decades have passed since the guns fell silent. Yet, the Nigeria-Biafra War continues to cast a long shadow. Its legacy is complex, it is multifaceted, and it is essential to confront this past, not to dwell in pain, but to learn from it. Memorialization is not about glorifying war. It is about honoring the victims. It is about acknowledging the suffering. It is about ensuring that such atrocities are never repeated. The need for memorialization is urgent. Time is slipping away. Survivors are aging. Memories are fading. It is our duty to preserve this history, to learn from it, and to build a future where peace and understanding prevail. The drums of war are deafening. They drown out the laughter of children, the bustle of markets, the quiet hum of daily life. When conflict explodes, it consumes everything in its path. The Nigeria-Biafra War was a ruthless beast. It devoured the peace and prosperity of Igbo land. The war's impact was immediate and devastating. Homes were reduced to rubble, villages razed to the ground. Fields once bursting with crops lay barren and scorched. The lifeblood of Igbo land, its agriculture and trade, ground to a halt. The war brought with it not only physical destruction, but also economic collapse. Industries crumbled, businesses shuttered their doors. The once thriving economic heartland of Nigeria was plunged into chaos and poverty. The effects of this economic devastation would linger for decades, shaping the lives of generations to come. War is more than just bombs and bullets. It is an assault on the human spirit, a tearing apart of the social fabric that binds communities together. The Nigeria-Biafra War left deep wounds on the soul of Igbo land, wounds that transcended the physical. Families were torn apart, separated by battle lines and the chaos of displacement. Parents lost children, children lost parents. The unspeakable trauma of war became a shared experience, a heavy cloak worn by an entire generation. The war also left its mark on the political landscape of Igbo land. Trust in leadership eroded, replaced by disillusionment and a sense of betrayal. The war had exposed deep-seated ethnic and political divisions within Nigeria, leaving a legacy of suspicion and resentment. In the aftermath of the war, Igbo land was left to pick up the pieces. The task was monumental, rebuilding shattered lives, restoring broken communities, and confronting the psychological scars of conflict. The path ahead was fraught with challenges. The physical rebuilding was daunting. Homes needed to be rebuilt, infrastructure restored, and the economy kick-started. But the task of healing the psychological wounds was perhaps even greater. The trauma of war, the loss, and the displacement left many emotionally scarred. The war also cast a long shadow over the future. The Igbo people, once at the forefront of Nigerian society, now faced an uncertain place in the post-war nation. The echoes of conflict continued to reverberate, shaping political realities and impacting economic opportunities. The war ended, but the silence was deafening. A silence heavy with grief, with loss, with the sheer exhaustion of a people who had endured the unimaginable. Yet even amidst the ruins, a spark flickered. The indomitable spirit of the Igbo people, their resilience, refused to be extinguished. In the face of overwhelming adversity, the Igbo people began the long and arduous task of rebuilding their lives. They returned to their ravaged towns and villages, determined to reclaim their homes, their livelihoods, and their future. There was a quiet determination in their eyes, a strength born of survival. The road to recovery was long and arduous, paved with obstacles and setbacks. The physical scars of war were everywhere, in the crumbling buildings, the shattered infrastructure, the empty spaces where homes and businesses once stood. But the Igbo people, with their characteristic resilience and resourcefulness, refused to be defined by the destruction. The Igbo spirit, deeply rooted in community, hard work, and a belief in a brighter future, became the driving force behind the recovery. It was a spirit that thrived on collaboration, on the understanding that collective action was essential for individual and communal progress. The concept of Onye Agana Nwaneya, which translates to "let no one leave his brother behind," resonated deeply within the Igbo community. It became a guiding principle in the post-war years, fostering a spirit of unity and mutual support. People helped each other rebuild homes, restart businesses, and re-establish a sense of normalcy. Education, always highly valued within Igbo culture, became even more critical in the post-war period. It was seen as a pathway to progress, a way to equip future generations with the knowledge and skills needed to rebuild their communities and thrive in a changing world. Parents made enormous sacrifices to send their children to school, investing in a future they might not live to see. The rebuilding process was not just about restoring physical structures. It was about mending the social fabric, healing the psychological wounds, and restoring hope for the future. It was a multifaceted undertaking that required resilience, innovation, and an unwavering belief in the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. The Igbo people drew strength from their cultural heritage, their traditions, and their strong family and community bonds. Music, dance, and storytelling played a vital role in the healing process, providing solace, preserving history, and reminding people of their shared identity and resilience. Despite facing discrimination and marginalization within the post-war Nigerian state, the Igbo people persevered. They rebuilt their businesses, re-established trade networks, and focused on education as a means of empowerment. Their entrepreneurial spirit, their adaptability, and their unwavering determination became a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Memory is a powerful force. It can haunt us with the ghosts of the past, but it can also guide us toward a brighter future. The Nigeria-Biafra War, a period of profound suffering and loss, left an indelible mark on the soul of the nation. Yet, within the act of remembering lies the potential for healing and reconciliation. Memorialization is not about glorifying war or perpetuating old wounds. It is about acknowledging the pain, honoring the victims, and learning from the mistakes of the past. It is about ensuring that such atrocities are never repeated, that future generations understand the human cost of conflict. Creating spaces for remembrance, whether physical or digital, allows for a collective confrontation with history. It provides a platform for sharing stories, for giving voice to the silenced, and for understanding the complexities of the conflict. It is through this process of remembering, of confronting the truth, that healing can begin. How do you give form to memory? How do you capture the essence of a conflict as complex and devastating as the Nigeria-Biafra War? Museums, memorials, and digital archives offer tangible ways to preserve history to ensure that the stories of that era are not forgotten. Imagine a museum dedicated to the Nigeria-Biafra War, a space where artifacts, photographs, and personal testimonies paint a vivid picture of the conflict and its impact. A place where visitors can connect with the past, not as a distant historical event, but as a lived experience with lasting consequences. Beyond physical spaces, digital archives offer new and innovative ways to preserve and share the stories of the war. Online platforms can host oral histories, digitized documents, and interactive maps, creating a dynamic and accessible repository of knowledge. These archives can transcend geographical boundaries, ensuring that future generations, no matter where they are, can learn from the past. Education is the most powerful weapon against the amnesia of history. It is through education that we can ensure that the lessons of the Nigeria-Biafra War are not forgotten, that future generations understand the fragility of peace and the importance of tolerance and understanding. Integrating the history of the conflict into school curriculums is essential. Students need to learn about the root causes of the war, the experiences of those who lived through it, and the long-lasting impact it has had on Nigerian society. Beyond textbooks and lectures, interactive learning experiences, such as visits to museums and memorials, can bring history to life for young people. Engaging with primary sources, hearing first-hand accounts from survivors, and participating in discussions can foster empathy, critical thinking, and a deeper understanding of the complexities of conflict. Remembrance is not an end in itself. It is a starting point, a catalyst for dialogue, healing, and ultimately, reconciliation. By confronting the past honestly and openly, by acknowledging the pain and suffering on all sides, it becomes possible to build bridges of understanding and create a more just and peaceful future. Memorialization efforts must be inclusive, involving representatives from all sides of the conflict. It is through dialogue, through the sharing of diverse perspectives and experiences, that true reconciliation can be achieved. The path to reconciliation is long and complex. It requires empathy, forgiveness, and a willingness to confront difficult truths. But by embracing the power of remembrance, by learning from the mistakes of the past, Nigeria can move towards a future where the echoes of war are replaced by the sounds of peace and unity. Memory can be a harsh teacher, but it can also be a wise one. The act of remembering, of confronting the painful legacy of the Nigeria-Biafra War, is not an exercise in dwelling on past grievances. Instead, it is an essential step towards cultivating lasting peace and fostering meaningful civic engagement in Southeast Nigeria. Memorialization, when done thoughtfully and inclusively, has the power to transform individual and collective consciousness. It can challenge deeply ingrained narratives of division and replace them with a shared understanding of the past, fostering empathy and compassion where once there was only pain and resentment. By creating spaces where the stories of the war can be told and heard, where different perspectives can be shared and acknowledged, memorialization can begin to heal the wounds of the past. It can help to dismantle the walls of silence and mistrust that have long divided communities, creating the space for dialogue, understanding, and ultimately, reconciliation. Apathy thrives in the shadows of unresolved conflict. When the wounds of the past fester unaddressed, they can breed cynicism, distrust, and disengagement from the civic sphere. In such an environment, it becomes difficult for communities to move forward, to build a shared future based on mutual respect and understanding. However, the act of remembering, of actively engaging with the legacy of the Nigeria-Biafra War, can be a powerful catalyst for civic awakening. By confronting the mistakes of the past, by understanding the factors that contributed to conflict, citizens become better equipped to identify and address present-day challenges. Memorialization efforts, particularly those that involve community participation and dialogue, can empower individuals to become active agents of change. By fostering a sense of shared ownership over the narrative of the past, such initiatives can inspire a new generation of engaged citizens committed to building a more just and equitable society. Section 3. Development. A tapestry woven with threads of peace. Sustainable development, in its truest sense, cannot be achieved in a vacuum of peace and social cohesion. When a society is riven by conflict, when the wounds of the past continue to fester, it becomes incredibly difficult to create an environment where all citizens have the opportunity to thrive. Addressing the legacy of the Nigeria-Biafra War is not simply a matter of historical reckoning. It is an essential prerequisite for sustainable development in Southeast Nigeria. By confronting the root causes of the conflict, by addressing the social and economic disparities that fueled it, the region can begin to break the cycle of violence and underdevelopment. Investing in education, healthcare, and infrastructure, while simultaneously promoting peace-building initiatives and fostering intercommunal dialogue, will create a virtuous cycle where development reinforces peace, and peace paves the way for further development. Section 4. a legacy for generations unborn. The true measure of a society's maturity lies not only in its ability to remember its past, but also in its capacity to learn from it. The Nigeria-Biafra War, with all its pain, loss, and enduring legacies, holds within it valuable lessons that, if heeded, can guide the nation towards a brighter future. By embracing memorialization, by confronting the complexities of the past honestly and openly, Nigeria can bequeath to future generations a legacy of peace, understanding, and reconciliation. This is not a task for the faint of heart, nor is it one that can be accomplished overnight. It requires courage, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to justice and equality. The echoes of war may continue to reverberate for generations to come, but by choosing to learn from the mistakes of the past, by choosing to build bridges of understanding and empathy, Nigeria can ensure that those echoes grow fainter with time, replaced by the sounds of progress, unity, and lasting peace. Section 1. The Audacity of Hope. The echoes of war have a long reverberation. They can linger for generations, shaping perceptions, fueling divisions, and casting a shadow over the present. Yet, even amidst the ruins, even in the face of unimaginable loss, the human spirit possesses an extraordinary capacity for healing, for hope, for the audacity to imagine a brighter future. The Nigeria-Biafra War, a period of profound suffering and loss, tested the limits of human endurance. It left an indelible mark on the soul of a nation, fracturing communities, shattering families, and leaving behind a legacy of pain that continues to resonate today. But it did not extinguish the spirit of the Nigerian people, their resilience, their unwavering belief in the possibility of a better tomorrow. The path to healing from the wounds of the past is rarely straight or easy. It requires courage, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to justice and reconciliation. It demands that we confront uncomfortable truths, that we acknowledge the pain and suffering of all sides, and that we actively work to dismantle the structures of division and mistrust that fueled the conflict. Section 2. A future forged in remembrance. Remembrance is not about dwelling on past grievances or perpetuating cycles of blame and resentment. It is about honoring the memory of those lost by striving to create a world where such atrocities are never repeated. It is about learning from the mistakes of the past, understanding the root causes of conflict, and working to build a future where peace and understanding prevail. In the case of the Nigeria-Biafra War, remembrance must be an active and ongoing process, one that involves all segments of society. It requires a willingness to engage in open and honest dialogue, to listen with empathy to different perspectives, and to acknowledge the complexities of a conflict that continues to shape the nation's identity. The true legacy of the Nigeria-Biafra War will not be written in stone or etched in memorials, but in the actions of future generations. It will be measured by their commitment to building a more just and equitable society, by their willingness to embrace diversity, and by their unwavering belief in the power of dialogue and understanding to bridge even the deepest of divides.